Obedience Training 101 for Beginners. In this episode of Dog Training Tips, we're going to talk about basic obedience training. We're going to go over some beginner dog commands and how to train those. We're also going to talk about some training tips that will help you be a better dog trainer. Let's get started. As a professional dog trainer, I've had the opportunity to train many different dogs and people. What I've learned is that dog training is not rocket science. It doesn't have to be complicated. And in most cases, you can learn all the basic stuff right here in my channel. Now, I do offer private lessons and group classes because sometimes it's nice to have that extra human guidance. But honestly, if you just follow my videos, you'll be able to train your dog pretty darn well. Okay, so let's go over some of the basic stuff that every dog needs to know. The first one is sit. This is a very common command and it's very useful. When you're out and about and you say, "Hey dog, sit," they sit down, they're polite. You don't have them jumping up on people or begging or being rude when they're excited. So it's a good command to teach your dog. To teach your dog to sit, there are two ways that I like to do it. One way is with a treat. Take a treat, hold it above their head, and then move it back slowly until the dog sits. As soon as the dog sits, say yes or good and give them the treat. Then repeat that several times. Eventually, you won't need the treat. You can just use your hand and then eventually just the word sit. Another way to teach your dog to sit is to lure them into the sit. Take a treat, drag it along the ground in front of them. And eventually what happens is they'll naturally sit down. As soon as they sit down, say yes or good and give them the treat. Then repeat that several times. Eventually, you won't need the treat. You can just use your hand and then eventually, just the word sit. Next command is down or lay down. This is another useful one. When you want your dog to relax, when you want them to calm down, this is a great command to teach your dog. There are many different ways to teach your dog to lay down. But one of my favorites is just to take the dog's favorite toy, maybe a tug toy or something they like to chew on, and just drag it alongside the ground. As long as it's something enticing enough for them, they'll naturally lay down and grab that thing. As soon as they start laying down, say yes or good, give them the tug toy or whatever, and then repeat that several times. Eventually, you can just use the word down or lay down, and eventually you won't even need to show them the toy. You can just ask for the behavior and they'll do it. Next one is come. This is probably the most important command on this list. You want your dog to come when you call them. If you're out on a walk and there's something dangerous and you say come, you want them to come back to you no matter what. So very important command to teach your dog. One of the best ways that I've found to teach come is to simply call the dog's name and then give them a very high value reward, something that they really want. If that happens consistently, eventually the dog will learn that when you say their name, good things happen. Then once they start coming, you can say yes or good and give them the reward. Over time, the dog will figure out that when you say their name, you want them to come. And then eventually you can add come at the end of their name, and eventually you can just use the word come. Next command is stay. This is a tough one. A lot of dogs struggle with the stay command. But one way I like to teach stay is simply by starting close to the dog. Ask them to sit, then put your hand out like you're going to shake their hand. Say stay, then take a step back. If they follow you, say no, and bring them back. Give them a treat and repeat that several times. Gradually increase the distance. Also gradually increase the duration. So you start off just stepping back a little bit, and then you just stand there and pause. And then eventually you'll be able to say stay, take a couple steps back, turn around, and be out of sight for a few seconds. That's a long duration. For a dog that's never done a stay before, if they can do that, then they can do a pretty darn good stay. Leave it. This is another very useful one. If you want to keep your dog from eating something they shouldn't, chewing on something they shouldn't, or maybe jumping up on a counter, you can say leave it, and they hopefully will listen. To teach leave it, you can start off with the treat in your hand, palm down. Don't let them see it. Hold your hand in front of them. If they try to sniff it or grab it, say no and pull it away. As soon as they leave it alone, say yes or good and give them a different treat. Repeat that several times, and eventually the dog will learn that when you say, "Leave it," and hold your hand out like that, they're supposed to leave it alone. Drop it. This one goes along with leave it. Maybe they already grabbed something they're not supposed to. You want them to drop it? Say, "Drop it." If they drop it, say yes or good and give them a different treat. If they don't drop it, you can trade it out by holding a higher value treat in your other hand. Say, "Take it." And then they'll naturally grab that one and drop the other one. Once they drop it, say yes or good. Repeat that several times. Off, another useful one. Maybe they like to jump up on the couch or the bed or something. You can say off, and they hopefully will listen. To teach off, make it hard to be on whatever it is that you don't want them on. You can start by putting something like a folded blanket or a towel over your couch or your bed. If they try to jump up, quickly remove that towel and say no. If they get up anyway, stand up and make it hard for them to get comfortable. Make it hard for them to lay down. They'll probably want to get down. As soon as they get down, say yes or good. Repeat that several times. Gradually make it less and less comfortable for them until eventually you can just say off, and they'll understand. Quiet. This is a great one. If your dog is a big barker, maybe they bark at the mailman or the vacuum cleaner or other dogs, you can teach them a quiet command. To teach quiet, say quiet, and then give them a treat. Reward them for being quiet. If they bark, say no, and then continue rewarding them for being quiet. Eventually, they'll learn that when you say quiet, they get a treat. Heel. This is another great one. If you want your dog to walk nicely by your side without pulling on the leash, you can teach them to heel. One way to teach heel is to simply start off with a high-value treat in your hand. Hold it close to your leg so they can't get it. Start walking forward. As long as they stay by your side, give them the treat. If they get too far away or they try to run ahead, stop, stand still. As soon as they come back to your side, give them the treat. Keep repeating that over and over again. Eventually, the dog will learn that to get the treat, they have to stay by your side. Then you can say, heel, and eventually, you won't even need the treat. These are just some basic beginner dog commands, but there are plenty more commands you can teach your dog. If you'd like to learn more, check out my other videos. I have plenty of great dog training videos here on YouTube. Thanks for watching. Have fun training your dog.